some ways, I feel sorry for supercar makers because on the one hand, they've got governments telling them they need to reduce CO2 output and become more sustainable. On the other hand, they've got customers saying, I want more power. When the Huracan was launched, it had 610 brake horsepower, which seemed like a lot at the time, but these days hot hatches have over 400 brake horsepower. And so we come to the son of Huracan, the Temerario, which has more power, a lot more power. The headline figure is 907 brake horsepower, and it can do that because it marries a new V8 engine with twin turbochargers and 3 electric motors, 1 attached to the crank of the engine and 2 up at the front of the car. Of course, that means that the much loved V10 of the Huracan is gone. The reason Lamborghini ditched the V10? It says it would never pretend to be a company that wants to save the world with its eco-credentials, but it does want to be seen to be moving with the times. More importantly though, its ambitions for power output could go no further without electrification and turbocharging, and doing that to the V10 would create a power plant that was a little too close in character to the Revuelto's V12 hybrid. It could have gone down the V6 route, of course, but that would have resulted in something a little too close to what rivals at Ferrari and McLaren were doing. The hybridised V8, Lambo reckons, offers something a bit different, and the company went out of its way to give it some extra spice. A flat plane crank results in a bit more vibration, which you can feel through the seat of your pants, and it's been given a stratospheric amount of revs. But Lamborghini has tried to help by creating a V8 that does 10,000 RPM, and not only that, maximum revs come in at 10,000 RPM, as I say, but peak power is from 9,000 RPM. And listen to it, God, it's noisy. So maybe some of the magic of a V10 is gone. This is actually what a noise it makes. There are 5 main driving modes. Cheetah, which uses only the front electric motors for zero emission driving up to 6 miles, making it useful through cities and ideal if you don't want to wake your neighbours when you leave for work in the morning. Then there's Strada, which engages the V8 engine for 4-wheel drive and is a balanced profile for use on street, with a maximum power output of 867 brake horsepower. Sport mode is where the real fun begins though, offering a maximum 907 brake horsepower and a more aggressive engine note, and the damping firms up too. Then there's Corsa and Corsa Plus, which are designed for track use, with the latter setting switching off the electronic stability control, and when Lamborghini says off, they mean off. It's also worth noting though that there are 3 hybrid settings, offering a standard hybrid experience or a performance mode for maximum attack, and then a recharge setting for when you're heading back to the pits on a cooldown lap. Finally, Lamborghini has a drift mode, which doesn't seem all that necessary with a rear-biased super sports car that has so much power, but it has 3 levels that allow increasing yaw angles, and it's all very clever. I won't bore on about it because we sat through a 30-minute presentation on the system, and I don't want you to suffer the same fate, but just know that the front e-axle does clever stuff. The design of Temerario has a lot of heritage in it. You can see Gallardo, you can see Huracan. It's got that sort of classic wedge shape with the single line that goes over the top, these sloping glass windows into the cabin, and then it's got characteristic Lamborghini elements like these hexagon elements all the way around. These are actually air intakes that feed the brake ducts, and then you've got further aero elements at the front, directing air over the front wings, air intakes at the back to cool the engine, and then at the back you've got increased headroom, and it's almost like a sort of double bubble at the top. And then at the back here, it's got motorcycle influence, so high rear exhaust pipes, exposed rear wheels, and that cut-off design at the back. Air obviously comes out from the flat floor and is neatly guided around the back here, and then you've got more hexagon elements here. It's kind of a neat-looking thing, but it's very dramatic in a true Lamborghini way. That Hybridised version looks like a subtle upgrade, but the difference it makes in performance is dramatic, with 67% more downforce and 62% more efficient aerodynamics. It's also 25 kilograms lighter, which doesn't sound like much, but every little helps. But what makes a huge difference is the tyres, an often overlooked but incredibly important part of a supercar package. Lamborghini chose to partner exclusively with Bridgestone for Temerario, and the Japanese brand brought its A-game to 2 versions of the Potenza, plus a winter tyre too. On track, the race tyres fitted to our Hybridised made a phenomenal difference, and I had to find out more.
So Paolo, obviously creating a tyre that does over 200 miles an hour is no simple task. How does it differ from a family hatchback in terms of the development?
It's actually pretty much different. We are talking about a super sport car. One of the uniqueness of Lamborghini is for sure the high power, high torque, combined with a special driving dynamic and a very powerful car, which required the right tire, the perfect match to deliver the proper performances on the ground. We are talking about a car which is arriving up to 345 kph, so tires definitely need to deliver the proper forces in the right way on the ground. Especially these Potenza race fitment are quite unique, as let's say the main target from Lamborghini was to have not only let's say high peak of performances as it is useful and usually required to this type of application, but even having consistency lap by lap, and which was like quite a challenging for us.
And what are the specific differences between sport and race? Because you can use the race tire on the road, right?
Absolutely, they are both road homologated. Clearly Potenza Sport is a product which is entering the market in a, let's say, more complete way, like having performances which needs to be good on dry, needs to be good on wet, on comfort as well. So it's definitely a product which is pretty much stretched in all the direction. It can go on track, but it is very versatile, especially on the normal road. While in the case of the Potenza race, we are talking about a product which still road homologated, but at the same time, it has the core DNA on the track. So we are talking about a product which needs to deliver grip, performances, and consistency lap by lap. And those ones for sure were the main let's say challenges by Lambo.
You can see that that's a new tire, isn't it? And that's 30 laps in.
Absolutely.
And still got plenty of grooves in it.
Absolutely, and the wear is very homogeneous. You can see no peak of pressure, no lack of pressure, no area with chunk. We're talking about a tire which is lasting 30 laps, which normally is quite unique also for a semi-slick application. And it was like one of the main challenges, because when you come up to combine these with a high grip, it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah, I like it. There was definitely grip on the track, but also I like the fact there's a little bit loose and a little bit fun.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah. And all this has been possible, let's say, with material that is visible outside from the tire. You can see we have a special compound applied here, derived from motorsport. We have a unique pattern which has been decided on purpose for Temerario. Of the cavity profile is studied in order to have proper transition on the ground and contact pressure distribution, but as well is important, let's say, all the material which are inside the tires and of course are not visible, no, and definitely are playing a key elements there.
Okay, and is it locked in now, or are you still developing the tires?
No. These ones are locked in, so are ready for mass production, which should start soon. So you are definitely testing on the track the very end product. Yes.
Okay, Ace. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a hot lap, try and concentrate a bit, because I was losing my instructor then. Lovely balance, slightly more 50-50 than the Huracan. And I'm just trying to build confidence a little bit. Good on the brakes. slide here and there. And yeah, it's a little bit heavier than the Huracan as well. But that extra power makes up for it. And it's playful. Long sweeping right hander here. You just have to hold it, hold it, hold it. 8,000. 9,000. 10,000.
Lamborghini says this is the most comfortable Lamborghini super sports car ever, and that's certainly true. CEO Stefan Winkelmann told me he wants drivers not to get out and feel exhausted, they should feel energized. Even so, you wouldn't want to be over 6'5" tall, or 198 centimeters for our European friends. The cabin is mostly excellently laid out, with a new touchscreen flanked by a digital driver's display and a passenger screen too. Lambo's new system allows for customization of layout, and you can even slide apps from the center screen to the other displays. Drivers will feel cocooned like a fighter pilot in the cockpit, which is no coincidence as that's Lambo's thing. Not only is the engine start button under a missile-style flap, like in the Huracan, but the toggle switches are very fighter-esque. And then there's all the controls on the steering wheel, which is both good and bad. The drive and hybrid mode dials work well, but having the indicators and windscreen wipers as buttons on the wheel is less successful, unless you want to activate the wipers while negotiating a hairpin, which you don't. Quick note about practicality too, under the bonnet is space for 2 carry-on bags, and there's a shelf behind the seats too, so the Temerario is a car that you can use for a weekend getaway. But let's get to pricing. In the UK, the base retail price is £216,308, so expect to pay upwards of £260,000 after taxes and fees. That rises to £290,000 with the Alleggerita package. That sounds like a lot, but when Huracan was launched in 2014, it cost around £187,000. Adjust that for inflation, and it equals £260,000, so Temerario is bang on where it should be for price.
Later in the year, a certain Sunday Times writing driver turned farmer is going to be delivering his verdict on this car. No doubt he'll have few things to say about moving from a naturally aspirated V10 to this hybridized twin turbocharged V8. For me though, it's still got plenty of drama, it's still got plenty of excitement, it's still got plenty of emotion, and the fact that it revs to 10,000 RPM really helps that. But at the same time, this is a car that flatters average drivers, but also rewards good drivers. It's such a complete package, and I've just had a huge amount of fun today at Estoril.